Hello, my name is Abin Harshan Sindhil, and my UIN is also shown on the slide. So this is my video demonstration for milestone 1 of the Ethermart database project. So moving on to the next slide. So this is an overview slide. So in this video, I will be demonstrating the core technical requirements of the milestone 1 project. Also, I will be walking you guys through the EC2 instance steps, which we are going to do, and how to install MariaDB and the configuration. Also, we have our data onto our local, so we need to transfer the local data to the EC2 instance. That also we are going to do today. And also we need to debug and write scripts for database creation and schema definition. Also we have to do a lot of data cleansing and make our data very good in format. Also the last step is successfully loading data into the tables. So moving on to the first step, that is EC2 instance setup. Okay, so for setuping an EC2 environment, so first we have to log into AWS and go to EC2, and we have to configure an EC2. Then we have to launch an instance. You can give any name you want and just launch the instance. Once the instance is launched, we can directly add the code for getting the MariaDB on our Ubuntu itself. So that is a code that we have to paste on the additional requirements, and we have to launch the instance. So once the instance is launched, we'll be able to log into the virtual desktop interface like this. That is what it is shown. So there we have to enter sudo zoom minus, and we will be in the root. Okay, so moving on to the next slide. So we have launched our EC2 instance. So now what is the step? So we have to transfer data which is available on cloud. I've used Google Drive to upload my data. So all my data, raw data are now in Google Drive. So I have to transfer my local Google Drive data to the Ubuntu EC2 instance. Okay, so for that, what we're going to do is like we are going to use the wget command, which is pretty easy because within a one-line code, we'll be able to transfer all the data that is on our local to the Ubuntu EC2 instance. So if you look at the screenshots, you can see I've pasted the code over here, and when I press enter, everything is working fine, and that is saved. So in this, I put two examples like suppliers and reviewers. So by using the wget command, we are able to transfer data to the EC2 instance in this project. Yeah, so moving on to next, so that is database creation and schema. So once we have transferred all the data to our Ubuntu EC2 instance, so next part is the database creation. So storing the data. So pretty normal. We are using the create database command for creating a database, and we created EthermarDB. That is the database name. So we have created that, and we have a couple of tables like customers, categories, suppliers, products, orders, order items, reviewers. Also these tables are also we have to create. So for that we need to write an SQL script, right? Okay, so the SQL script is basically it defines the database schema. Also we'll be having some kind of foreign keys. Also we'll be having primary keys, and for all the primary keys I've used serial data type, and foreign keys should be referring to the correct foreign tables. All these things we have to make ensure, otherwise data is going to not properly connected and it will cause some errors. So also I've used certain measures to avoid these data handling issues. Like I've run the code multiple times, and also I've used assistance from Gemini to help me sort certain issues. Okay, so that is very much important. So I will guide you. I will show the SQL script which I've written for the demonstration. Yeah, so this is the SQL script which I've developed with the help of Gemini as well. So I will walk you guys through it. Okay, so first we are gonna say drop table, which is like pretty important because otherwise it will show sometimes some error that database exists. So first we are doing the drop table command, and we have given the name of the database itself as ethermartdb. Okay, then we are gonna create a database named ethermartdb. So for that we have used pretty the syntax, that is create database ethermartdb, and after that we have used use a database name, that is ethermart.db. Okay, so next we are going to go to, we are also dropping the tables because sometimes it will also come as an error. So in order to be safe, we added drop table if exists all the table names that we are using, so that there won't be any errors coming. Okay, so first we are going to see how we created a table customer. So that is one of the CSV file and the data that we have custom table. So we are creating a table named customers. So in that, customer ID is coming as primary key, and we have also given serial data type to it. Then next, first name, last name, all these things are also field names, and I've given not null to that. Email also is given. Registration date is date data type, and that is also not null. And city, state, zip code, all these things are mentioned and declared. So these are the field names of the customers table. And so we have our data first in the Google Drive, right? So from there we have imported it to Ubuntu. So now we have to load the data into the customers table. For that we are using the load data local in file command. And then we are going to say what is the file that we're looking at, is customers.csv, and we are inserting it into the table customers. So these are given because there will be some kind of data problems, not data problems, but commas, semicolons, all these things. So we are going to eliminate all those. We are going that is mainly done to look more the data more understandable and readable. That's it. Okay, so we are also loaded the data to the customers table. So now we have to do the same for categories table. So in categories tables, we create the table, create table categories, and the field names are also mentioned. Category ID, that is serial, and primary keys also, and category name is also another field, and we have done not null and unique. Okay, so then we load the data into the categories table as well, and same process which we have discussed earlier. Then we are going to the suppliers table. So on suppliers table, same create table suppliers and field names are also mentioned. So in that table, for the primary key is supplier ID, and I've given serial data type, and supplier name is also there, which I've given unique and not null. Next, same step, we are going to load data into the suppliers table. So same steps are followed like before, and so also we have to uh, so it's about data integrity. So by normalizing the email data and handling inconsistent date formats, so we have to ensure that the script is good for the analysis part, and for making the database more reliable and easier to work, we are going to add these steps. Okay, so first we created a temporary table to hold the raw data, and then we ran a special insert statement so that uh, it is actually done to automatically split that one messy field into multiple clean rows with just one email per row. So it will be visually good to see. Also, the database should be kind of structured correctly if you do like this. So for that only, we have created a temporary table, that is temporary supplier contracts, and supplier ID is the primary key, and we have also mentioned email data is another field. Then we are gonna load all the data from suppliers to it. Same procedure. Then we created another final table, supplier contacts, and we have mentioned the so in that supplier ID is a foreign key, and also declare the foreign key as well. Then we have the final table, and we are using the insert commands for doing that. And finally, we will be able to uh, see all the emails correctly row by row. After that is done, that is kind of a data cleansing that we have done. After that is done, we are gonna create the products tables. In product tables, product ID comes as the primary key, and we have two foreign keys as well, that is category ID and supplier ID. So we have also declared foreign key, that is category ID is one foreign key, and it refers to categories table, and the field name is category ID. Same foreign key, the supplier ID is another foreign key, and it refers to suppliers table, field name is supplier ID. Also, in order to avoid certain foreign key issues, we have auto incremented the table to 101 because it starts from 100. Same process, we have to load data into the products table. So for that, we are using the same step. Okay, next moving on to the create order table. So same syntax, create table orders, and we are mentioning all the field names. So in the create table order table, so primary key should be the order ID, customer ID is the foreign key. So we mentioned the foreign key references also. So foreign key is the customer ID in reference to customer table. The field name is customer ID. Here also, in order to avoid foreign key issues, we are alter table command is used, and auto incremented to 1001. Also, we are loading the data into the orders table for, but the date formats are kind of inconsistent. So for that, we are using this code so that the inconsistency is kind of avoided, so that our data will be looking perfect. So next, what we are going to do is like we are gonna load the data into the order items table. So before that, we have to create the order items table as well. I think that step is not on the notepad, but there is a step to create order items table also. So, and after that, once create part is done, we have to load the data to the order items table. So that is the same step which we have been following, and this is used for select start from order items or select start from table means we are displaying the table with all the data. And we are going to create the last table, that is table structure for the reviewers, and it is create table reviewers, and reviewer ID is the primary key, product ID, customer ID, all these things are the foreign keys, so we have declared them over here. And we are also altered the table because it is not starting from the uh, correct numbers, so we just made sure there are no foreign key issues while running our code. And the same part, we are going to load data into the reviewers table. Okay, that's also done. So select star from reviewers will show you all the data. So this is the code which we have created. So that's it. If you have any questions, you can ask. So moving on to the next slide, that is successfully loading data into the tables. Okay, so this part we already discussed. That is, we use the load data local file command to import data from the CSV files to our tables. So next, if you want to see how your data is going to look like, you can use select star queries, that is select star from the table name, so that you can visually see. Okay, also you can use cat or your file name, that is CSV file name, to check whether the data is successfully loaded and whether the format is correct, all these things, so that you can use cat command. So this is a visual representation of how I think. So yeah, so I'm going to open this video so that you guys can see how the tables and how the data is going to look like. Just opening it. So this is how the tables are going to look like after data cleansing and everything. Supplier, product table, all the tables are coming once we run the code. So first we have to save the code using the nano command, and we have to enter the codes there using nano, and we have to save it. Once all the debugging is ready and there are no errors, we can run the code using MariaDB less than symbol and the file name, so .sql. So if you enter that, we'll be able to see if your code is working fine, then you'll be able to see all the tables in the correct format with all the data after data cleansing. Okay, so next is about AI usage disclosure. So I basically used Gemini for the Gemini as the AI for the help in the Milestone project. So whenever I'm stuck with some kind of issues, if I'm not able to resolve it on my own, I use Gemini's assistance. So Gemini told me the certain commands, like for example, I asked Gemini, so is there any way that uh, we can upload the files that are there on my Google Drive to the Ubuntu. So that's how I get to know about the wget command, which is pretty useful and it's pretty simple compared to other forms of doing the thing. And also I encountered so many issues, like NT-set issue was there. So I know it was a problem with the local file some issues. So I've taken help from Gemini and pretty made sure that it is working fine. Also, Gemini helped me in data cleansing and about getting the data look perfect. So I've used the Gemini tool as an AI for all these helps. And what I understood from it is like Gemini won't give us the correct results or something, but we have to debug. We have to ask correct prompts and correct questions, all these things to Gemini, and then only we'll be able to get a good output. If we just randomly say something to Gemini, it is not going to provide anything. It will be providing something, but not relevant to our project. So if we use Gemini and we have to think ourselves, and if we are providing the correct prompt to Gemini, I think it will give suggestions and we have to find what is good for us and like that we can do. So yeah, so thank you everyone for listening to my Milestone 1 project presentation. Hope everyone understood what I'm trying to convey, and if you guys have any doubt, please reach out to me. Thank you. Yeah, so these are the AI usage disclosures slide, which I already mentioned all these points. I want to just show what all things I've written on the AI usage disclosure. That's it. Next. Thank you once again for hearing all the things. Thanks.